Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans. What we do around here, is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. We make something happen for your listening pleasure, and we continue to do that in a meaningful nature. And so, this can be super, super valuable in a good way. Kind of looking at things from the level of intelligence and ultimately making things happen in a better way. Ultimately, there's a value there where um, it's interesting because when we see ourselves in the right light, we can often make moves towards kind of looking at things in a better fashion. And so, what are signs of extra intelligence? And kind of connecting with that, please feel free to reach out. Got over 1,400 of these in the archive for you, and continuing to add. In any event, so the first thing is kind of looking at things in terms of openness. If you are an open person to the concept of ideas, to the concept of things, ways in which things can change, it doesn't mean, and a lot of times people think open means you don't have boundaries, and that's just not the case. The reality of the true deal here is being open just means kind of looking at things from a new perspective and kind of seeing, is there value to making uh, a, a decision based on how things are beneficial and or connecting with people in a more direct fashion or a more healthy fashion or a smarter fashion. And so, again, that becomes, how do you look at making decisions for the benefit of other people and making decisions for the benefit of yourself in a way that you can balance things out, make balanced decisions, healthy decisions, and ultimately be open minded to new things, being curious about the way things can change, being curious about the way that you can make a better life for yourself as well as for others, being curious about the way things evolve, both in terms of just concepts or ways for life to improve, be easier, be healthier, be smarter used, unleashing your inner power, unleashing your true desire, but also your skills, talents, and abilities. It's another factor that people need to consider at least a little bit. And the next thing is level of creativity and sensitivity. So being creative means being willing to think outside the box as it relates to problem solving. Being sensitive means understanding that emotions are indicators and they can be valuable, but they don't necessarily have to define your identity. A lot of times people mistake sensitivity for weakness, or they mistake sensitivity for a way to be in some way taken advantage of, and for some people it does end up that way, and that's super unfortunate. And ultimately there are many individuals who kind of use people's emotional instability or desire to be overly sensitive against them, but obviously in a healthy dynamic that doesn't happen as much. Again, understanding the balance between being sensitive to a person's needs and not losing oneself is super important. That can be extremely difficult to learn. That can be an extremely difficult way to grow and go in a way there. And so there are challenges as it relates to making decisions there that ultimately um, can be struggle filled for sure, as we begin to kind of look through ways to identify, you know, the nature of making better decisions for ourselves, better decisions for what is needed, and also better decisions for the future of what we are really looking to have and be and become versus what we think other people need from us, want from us, or are drawing from us. The next is using humor and sarcasm. So, extremely smart people realize a very simplistic and sometimes people would think cold truth, and that is that life isn't as serious as people make it a lot of the time. Finding ways to find sarcasm and humor in things that other people find drab and dreary doesn't necessarily mean that ultimately it's a good or bad thing. It's an interesting thing, and so um, ultimately, it's just finding balance, and obviously you don't want to offend somebody, but at the same time, life is just a series of events that can be positive, negative, or neutral. How you interpret them and how you use them will determine your level of success. So it's valuable in that way. So hopefully, continue to reach out and be of value to you. Until next time, everybody.